welcome to another up close video. Today's one is looking at designer's choice number 26, which is called the mini desk tidy, and it's actually like a gift box kind of idea that you can use to store bits and pieces on your desk as well. And there is a couple of configurations that you can make this into. So basically the idea is that it kind of all sticks together in a line, and there's like 4 of these little compartments that you can store things in, and you can either put it together so they're all on the outside, or you can put it together so they're all on the inside and it kind of closes like a gift box, and then the recipient can open the top of it and have it open. Or I've actually done a version of kind of leaving it so that it folds out like this as well, and I will be doing a construction at the end of the video. I'm going to do a construction to show one that is like folded together like this, and I'm going to stick it together so you can't unfold it. And then I'm also going to finish off the one that I've started that's like this and show you how to stick the base inside to make it stay together as well. And then I've also done one that looks like this, but it can unfold to be straight, and I guess you might even be able to turn it into this one as well. We'll have to have a look and see if we can get that to work. But I've put ribbon around it to kind of tie the whole thing together as well. But obviously I'm not just going to show you how to make what the die set is supposed to make, and I've also done 3 cards as well that will be in my sped up video that should be up tomorrow too. And these are the instructions that you get in with this little set. So it tells you creating your mini table tidy gift box, tells you how many you need of the main dies. So you need 4 of this one, and then you need 4 of this, but you need 2 with the hole cut in the top and 2 with the slit cut into it, and it tells you exactly how to do that. And the dies have got little notches in as well. And actually, if you when you look at these instructions, flip over to the second side first, because it actually tells you that you only need 1 of these with a base on, and actually for some versions you don't even need any with a base on, so you can save yourself a little bit of cardstock as well. I did manage to get 3 of these out of 1 sheet of A4 with a little bit of like careful cutting around this area so that I had enough card left. But if you know that you don't need these bottom pieces, then obviously you can butt them up closer together and make sure that you can get all 4 of them out of 1 piece of A4 as well. So have a think about that as you're doing it, because I had read the instructions, I knew that you didn't need the base on all of them, and then I was making them a few days later and had totally forgotten this part and cut them all with the base piece on. So I could have saved myself some card if I had looked at this step or remembered this step earlier. So I thought I would say that at the beginning of the video in case you get this. Hopefully it will remind you to think about whether you're going to need the base on your pieces or not as well. So it just tells you like how to remove those pieces, and then really simple how to stick it all together. Another thing, when you are putting it together, make sure you put these a slit, a hole, a slit, a hole, because I know they have to go in that order, but both of the ones that I put together, what did I do? I stuck 2 of the whole ones next to each other and then had to pull it apart. So make sure you're paying attention to the order of those, the holes and the slits as you're putting it together as well. So let's have a look at the actual die set. It's a lovely dinky little one because it is a designer's choice one. So you will get it in your little designer's choice folder, which just has the little sticker on the corner. And then these fit in the designer's choice duck egg binders as well. And these are the dies that are included. So it's a really simple set, but you can actually do some really fun cards with these shapes as well. So these are the main pieces to create your box. This is the biggest part, and this would be the base portion, so this would be the piece that you wouldn't need on some of them. And then you also need this top piece as well, although you could make it open and not put the top piece on, but the top piece is what creates the kind of latching mechanism to hold it together or to hide a compartment in one case as well. So, and this piece would stick on here, and depending which way you want to fold the flaps over, you would stick the professional edge of this a different way around, you know, to get the nice edge showing on the side that would be seen the most. I hopefully will explain that later on a little bit more as well. So you've got these pieces, you basically need 4 of each of those to create one of the boxes, and you might not need the bases on some of them. And then you will need to take 2 of the ones you've cut of these and cut that piece into them, and you've got the little notches within the die to show you exactly how that needs to be placed. Although if you didn't want that decorative detail, you could just score between those two notches, and if you didn't want the hole as well, the hole and the decorative detail, you could just score between the two notches and make it a little bit plainer and less fancy if you want to. And then the other two of these you will need to cut with this vertical slot in them as well. And again, you can use those two notches within the die to show you the exact position of where that needs to be, which is nice and easy for you. So that is like the main pieces to create the actual box. And then you have the decorative panels to go on them as well. So you've got these two like handedness panels that decorate the sort of front portion, which is like the pouchy part that you can keep your bits and pieces in. And you've got two gorgeous decorative designs on there. I love this flower. It's a really like almost scribbly kind of outliney flower. And then the background of the design has got this like retro leaf pattern, which you can see in this die here. I really love this design. I hope Tonic might bring this out as a stencil or something, because it's a really cute design. They almost look like little four-petaled flowers, but I'm sure that's a retro kind of a pattern. It looks really cute. And so you've got these gorgeous like liney flowers within the two panels that fit on either side of that piece. And then you have the matching panel that will go on the outside of the box. Or you can use it to line the inside of the box as well, depending which way you're making it. So I definitely recommend making a prototype one of these, even if it's just one pocket of it rather than all four of them, just so that you can, in your head, visualise which places you want the decorative panels to be, because I ended up cutting enough panels for all of the sides for all of my boxes, because I got 3 different variations, and I hadn't really thought about you know, like where I was sticking the panels and what would still be visible, which is why I made an altered one that can unwrap, because I'd spent ages paper piecing these panels and then decided I was going to do it the one that was sort of closed up in the square position. Then I was like, you're not going to see any of these panels that I just spent ages paper piecing. So I changed the design of the box to reveal these panels as well. So you can definitely play around with the construction of it, of how it goes together and opens up and stuff, to make sure you get the most out of your little panels. Then you also have these two panels, which have that same gorgeous like retro pattern inside them, that will decorate this piece either side of the slit that you need to cut in there for the sort of latching mechanism of the box as well. So you've even got the decorative pieces to do that. You've also got a gift tag in here, which I didn't actually cut in the end, but you've got a lovely sort of geometric cornered gift tags. I love this like little stepping piece here, and then you have 2 different designs that can go inside. This one is just the straight edge cutting line on that small square with the sort of central portion of this flower in it, and then this one has got a stitching around it, and then it's got that gorgeous retro pattern in there. So if you had the patience, you could like die cut that and, you know, lock it back into it, die cut it again, and keep making a larger pattern of this, and then maybe turn it into a stencil that you could use to do a little bit of light ink blending in a background. But I really love that design. I hope they bring that back more in different boxes or pattern panel die sets or a stencil or something. I really like that design. And then we also have another gift tag, which is like a pennant gift tag with the little hole on the end of it, which is nice actually, because they usually have the hole inside them, so it's nice to see it sort of poking out the edge. And then you've got 2 different layers to go on there. You've either got just the straight edged one, or you've got the straight edged one with the stitching design. So for both of the tags you have the 2 different options for your layers on them. And don't just think of these as decorations for the tags, they make perfect accents or even focal designs for your cards as well, which I'll show you later on as well. So I'll be back in 1 second to show you the cards that I did. So here are the 3 cards that I created that will be in my sped up video. I think this one's my favourite, and it's the simplest one out of all of them as well. So I just picked a selection of green, blue and then some Kraft card, and I've picked different finishes. So I've got, this is the newest green Craft Perfect card that came out in the Santa's Workshop colour trend. This is the Turkish turquoise, I think, and then this is the holly green mirror card that they do as well, and then the Kraft card. But I really love this combination of colours together. I actually did the box first and then wanted to match the cards to kind of go with the first box I created that I'd done it out of craft card, and I really loved the mix and match of these colours together, and I really love the simplicity of these little designs as well. This flower looks so beautiful just like that, because the first time I used it I was paper piecing it, but just seeing it, just the outline onto white, it looks so lovely and so clean and simple for a card as well, and mixing it in with that retro design I think looks really cool too. And then just finishing off with a simple sentiment as well. And I have been using these sentiments a lot, so I actually treated myself to the actual packaged one and gave my other set to my mum because I've been using these so much. I wanted to be able to show you the packaged version in my videos. So they're called Sweet and Simple Sentiments. I was just calling them Simple Sentiments before, but they're called Sweet and Simple, and there's so many really useful everyday sentiments in here. I don't think there's actually a happy birthday one, but it's just like all of those other kind of little occasions, or just to say, or hello, take care, best wishes, you know, all those other kind of ones. This one's kind of a birthday one, here's to another year, or it could be a New Year's card as well. But I really love this set, and I've been using it quite a lot recently because when I turn a box die into cards, there isn't always a sentiment that you could use on a card, or maybe the set doesn't even have any sentiments, like this set in particular, because it's made to be a desk tidy. So it's a really nice set to kind of pair with everything, and you can just bring that one out when you need a sentiment, which is nice. But I really love how this card turned out. I think this is definitely my favourite out of the three that I created. I think it is still a slightly bit wonky. I was trying to keep it straight, and I did end up trimming the panel a tiny bit, but I still think it's a little bit wonky, but it looks lovely though, so I don't mind that it's a little bit wonky. And then the other two that I created are both shaker cards. This one wasn't going to be a shaker card, but I wanted to do that cool like quadrant effect of a shaker card. So because we had this little window effect in the middle, because I had cut to create this one, these two panels here, I turned them this way, so they're sort of making an archway, and then I cut them twice together there, and then flipped them over and cut them twice together there to give this kind of like almost oval sort of shape, but it turned it into like a window. And so I had this sort of crossbar already going in the design, so I thought, well, why not turn it into a 4-quadrant shaker card so that I could put different stuff in opposing areas. And then because I was sort of thinking about that, I decided to do sort of opposing cardstocks in the areas that I was going to change as well. So these are the just normal textured Craft Perfect green card, and then this was the mirror card, and I just did them opposites. And all I did to get these patterns in those places was I just took the pattern dies, cut them into a larger piece of card, and then you'll see in the sped up video how I kind of added glue around the aperture, stuck the card in, waited for it to grab, and then just trimmed off any excess that was overlapping into one of the other quadrants of the kind of design. And that worked really nicely to make this an easier shaker card to make, because you could definitely have just cut the panels out, and actually because we've put acetate on this to turn it into a shaker card, you could actually just have die cut those panels and then recess them back into the apertures that you'd cut from the white card. So that's also another way of doing it, but in the sped up video you will see how it is possible to just have the intricate pattern cut into a larger piece of card and then stick it behind the aperture as well. And then you can see, if I hold it up closely, this has got olive green stars in these two, and these have got meadow green hexagons in there, so it just makes a little bit of difference in the shaker, and they're not going to mix together because there's actually foam tape running along the cross section of there as well. I had this one left over from that first card that I showed you, so I thought I might as well utilise it on this card, and I just put some white card behind it to make it more solid, and then added again another one of those sentiments off that stamp set as well. So that's a really nice and simple little card. I'm sure you could get some different designs out of this as well, especially sort of like a windmill design. You'd use just one of these dies to do a windmill design so that the curvature was going the same way all the way around, but you could kind of, if I flip one of these over so it looks like the same shape, you'd kind of do them like this, and then another two up the other way, and it would give that kind of windmill kind of pattern. And you could even add extra ones in between if you wanted to as well, or even make it some kind of like stylized flower perhaps too, or do some kind of cool this kind of shape aperture design as well. And you might even have other, like if you had a semicircle, wouldn't a semicircle look cool on either side of that design? So you might have other dies in your stash that you can combine with these sorts of shapes as well, to create different sort of aperture patterns on your cards too. And then, because I had had that idea to create apertures with that design, I thought, well, why not do it with just that gorgeous square or rectangular design as well with that flower in? So for this one, I've done another shaker card backed with Kraft card again. I mixed the two confettis in this one. And then, because this pattern, you're supposed to, you know, cut the rectangle and then the pattern inside, and then you've got a little border around it. But I had cut the rectangle into the card, and because I was putting the pattern underneath the aperture and it was white onto white card, I felt like there was too much of a white border around it, because I wanted it to be more this size of the rectangle, not just the size of the design here. So what I did was I shifted it up to the top corner, and then I used some of the green card and put it underneath the aperture, and then overlapped some of this mirror card on the outside. If I had done this again, I might have used the turquoise mirror card on the outside here, because the turquoise, I shadowed this with the turquoise, but it's kind of getting a little bit lost in there. The green is kind of taking over. I have also backed the sentiment with that turquoise as well. This card is, I like it. I love the modern kind of look of it. It was very difficult to photograph though. It looks quite ugly in a photograph, but in person I think it looks quite nice, because you can catch that turquoise. The camera's not really picking it up either. It's kind of making it look green, but you can see that turquoise shadowed behind the flower as well. Maybe even a turquoise confetti would have looked better behind the aperture. Some of the, I think they are just called turquoise stars, or the mermaid parade stars, I think, perhaps. They would have looked nice behind there as well. But anyway, just another idea of how to make a shaker card, or you could have done this as a window card and cut the aperture going all the way through into the card, so you could have seen inside the card as well. You could also do like a double aperture as well if you wanted to, or you could actually even use those gorgeous little shapes that I used on the first card to do like a triple aperture on there. Or you could combine these together, because they are the same height. You could combine them together to create another different kind of shape as well. Or if you cut two of this one, you can make that kind of a shape as well with your apertures and do a landscape card. So there are loads of different ways of combining the rectangle or these kind of sloping shapes together to create different designs as well. So do think about that when you're making your cards, because there's always extra different patterns that you might not have thought of as well that you can try. So you could do even something like that as well. So yeah, loads of different ways of creating this kind of a card, but it's nice to remind you that you can do this kind of thing just with your little patterned panels as well. So I'll be back in a second to show you the sample that I've made, and then I will construct one for you as well. So these are the two that I've kind of made. This one is finished. This one still needs to be stuck together, but I wanted to show you that on camera. And this is showing the two different ones that you can do. So you can do one where all of the little pots are on the outside, and when I show you sticking this together, you'll actually end up with a compartment in this square as well. So you've actually got an extra place either to hide something with when it's closed, or you can open it and leave it open and have like a taller section if you wanted to. Or you don't even have to put these flaps on at all, because they are a separate die. So you could just leave it as a square opening with the triangle openings around the edge as well. So you've got multiple different ways of doing this kind of outside one. And then this inside one, the one that I'm going to construct, is going to be more like what it's supposed to kind of look like, and I think it is supposed to all be sort of stuck together because of the glue tabs that are in there. I would presume it's supposed to be stuck together. But this one, because I had spent all that time paper piecing the panels and stuck them on and not really thought about how it was going together, I didn't want to waste all of that work because I had already stuck them on. So this one, I turned into one, it hasn't got a base on it, I turned it into one that can open. So it's like a little gift box that you can untie the ribbon, which is supporting this outside piece, but you also need to open the flaps on the closure as well. And this is why you need two of the slit ones and two with the holes in. That's how that mechanism goes together. And then you can unwind this and then you could either have it open on your desk with the different areas like this, and you could even like tie that back together and leave it open with those 4 little ones, but you can open it and see all of that paper piecing in there as well, which is nice. And I reckon you probably could just tie it back the opposite way, or maybe not because of the way I've put it together. Maybe. It might make it look a bit ugly when you try to turn it back the other way though, because you'll have bent the cardstock in a different direction. But it's a possibility to make one that does that as well. You could put some better score lines in, because I didn't actually score between my panels. I just used a long strip of Kraft card, and then it just bent nicely, so it kind of gives curved corners, which I thought was a nice different effect as well. But if you did want it to be able to fold back on itself the other way around and turn into one like this, definitely put some score lines in here so that it has the ability to fold back on itself as well. But that is just one version that you can do. And to do this, all you do is you make the individual pockets, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I just took a piece of Kraft card that I measured the height of these pieces and cut. I think it was about 6 centimetres. It was exactly 6 centimetres. And then I just used the length of it. I put one right on the end here, and then to get the spacing, I kind of held the next one next to it and folded them up and got the spacing so that these would fold nicely next to each other. And I suppose that's about 3-4 millimeters between them, and then I just kept lining them up along there as well to give you that actual sort of spacing. And then you can fold this up with all 4 of them, and then because I had excess here, I just cut the excess to where I wanted it to be on the outside here, so that I had an extra overlap, because I thought that was going to be easier for getting it to kind of open, having that extra overlap on here. And then before I stuck the decorative panels on the outside, I ran some of Tonic's lovely 9mm satin double-edged ribbon along there with a piece of tape, and then covered it up with the panels as well, but you can still see it through the corners, which I quite like. And this is their treetop green colour that I used to do that with. Less than a metre, I think, that I used. Yeah, it's probably about 50, so it's probably like half a metre of ribbon to go all the way around that. So that is that one that I did, and you can see here actually I wasn't paying attention when I was cutting the panels. You only actually need 2 of each of these to decorate this portion, unless I suppose you're doing one like this, because I've actually got the panels on both sides because I cut 4 of each of them, and there aren't actually any decorative panels to decorate these ones. I'm guessing that's because when you put it together this kind of covers it, so there's not really much point in decorating it. But if you did want to decorate it, I'm sure you could possibly use this smaller panel and trim a piece off of it and decorate it like that. Just use some strips of card to match the colour design around. Like on these outside pieces, I wanted there to be more turquoise on here, so I just put a strip of turquoise card up there as well, because I'd only used the glitter behind there. And the glitter that I used, I left it out so I could tell you, is the Green Meadow. I got this in one of their monthly sales, I think, when they were doing them really reasonably priced. I think there's still a few of these large containers on there, some different colours of them, but the, what colour is it called? Olive, I think, or the Secret Garden, perhaps, something like that. There's also a couple of other greens in smaller containers that you might have had in kits or something as well. So that is the kind of altered version of this that I've created, and then I will show you the sort of this version, and then I'll completely put together the other one for you. I wanted to also show you the detail that debosses onto here, so you actually get that detail debossing into there. But if you didn't want that detail or the hole in it for whatever reason, you could just score from notch to notch on there and get that score line that you need for the closure of it as well. So you don't have to have that decorative detail if you don't want to. And you don't have to have these top portions if you don't want to either. You can easily not put them on, because that's not something you've got to cut off, because they're actually a separate piece anyway, so you could easily not put that on. And then to do this one up, I was just left the ribbon long enough so that you could tie a nice bow on here. And then I've just done the ribbon's tails at an angle as well. So you could actually also put a ribbon through that hole and tie it as well. There would have to then be 2 bows for someone to untie, but it's also nice to tie it up like that as well if you want to. So that is the kind of altered version. Then for this version, I haven't stuck it together yet because I wanted to show you, but you can see it's a very similar concept to that one. However, I've left that final base on here. I think this is the only one that you need the base for, but I have left it on the other one just in case we need it when we put it all together. But I'm not 100% sure yet because I haven't put that one together, sticking it together. But for this one, this is it already kind of completed, which I will show you how to do in a second. And then I want this one to be the one with the pockets on the outside. So I haven't bothered decorating any of these pieces, but I had already cut the pattern paper panels for it because I'm doing this one really simple with pattern paper panels using the Woodland Walk 6x6 paper pad. But because I'd already cut the rectangles, I was like, I don't want to waste them, so I lined the inside of the pocket with them. So if you do overcut any panels, you can definitely line the inside of the pocket with them, or if you don't want that kind of a look with the pockets lined, you can just not bother with the rectangles because you don't really need them on the inside there, because this one is going to be stuck like this. So although you will be able to open this portion and see inside there, it's not going to be like one of the main opened places that you're going to be looking in all of the time. Another nice reason to line the inside of these pockets is that that will be the unprofessional edge of the card. So when you fold the pocket together, this is the professional edge, but these are folded round from the other side, so this is the unprofessional edge. But because this piece is separate, you can then stick this piece so that the professional edge is then the right side as well. So you can see on the back here, actually, this is the professional edge because the unprofessional one is inside the pocket, but I've stuck the top tabs on so that the unprofessional edge is this way, because I want the professional edge to be the same side as the professional edge of the pockets. I'm sure you'll figure that out when you're making one for yourself, but just bear that in mind so that you don't stick it all together and then realise that the unprofessional edge is on the outside and you don't like the look of it. But if it's just inside the pocket, it's very easy just to line the pockets with the patterned paper to kind of cover that up. But so to turn this one into the sort of outside pocket one, I think the best way is going to be to kind of like stick these sides together first and then pull that last side round. So for this one, the unprofessional edge is going to be on the bottom of the box, so you could cut another square if you wanted to, or you could trim down one of the pieces that you had already cut off, one of the bases, and then just stick that onto there to make that look a little bit neater if you want to, but it's going to be sitting on your desk, so it doesn't really matter. And then you fold all of the glue tabs up and stick double-sided tape on the back of these, and this is on the unprofessional edge, because when we put this together, those are going to fold up inside and go on the inside of the sort of middle central portion. So let's have a go at trying to put this together. Okay, I'll just take all of the tape off because it's quicker. I'll leave that last one for now. But if we start by sticking this first one on, you just want to make sure the base is kind of flush with this, so it's going to be flat along this edge here. So we can stick the first one on, press from the inside, and then we can follow it round with the next one. And then the final one, we're going to want to stick this glue tab as well. So if I take the tape off this one as well, we can line that up nicely. So you've now got that side, I was going to say nicely lined up, but it's not. Need to push that back a little bit. Okay, it's probably best to line up the side first, and then the bottom will fall into place. And then to press these glue tabs into place, you can open up this central section and press from the inside so that they're nicely firmly stuck down, and that gives you your sort of box with the pockets on the outside. And you can see how you also have that central section as well, so that could be like a hidden present in there, and you could give it to somebody like this. or you can actually leave these open or just not put them on at all, and then you would have a box with little sections around the edge and a big section in the middle. Or instead of putting these on, you could just have cut extra squares of card, make this central section taller, and have like coloured pencils, for example, in there. Then you could put like a rubber, a pencil sharpener, I don't know, a pencil extender, some paper stumps or something in the outside pockets, and then everything you need would just be in that one little table tidy that you could have on your desk as well. So they don't just have to be a gift box, they can be just something useful to have on your desk too. Or I was actually thinking, let me put these back together. I was thinking these little roller date stamps that I have, I think they would like just about kind of fit in these pockets. That might be a cool way of storing something like that. And then you could put your little mini ink pad. Okay, that doesn't quite fit. What about a Nuvo one? Well, the little mini ink pad could rest on the side, or you could have that central section open and have a selection of mini ink pads on the inside as well. Oh, I have a 4th roller stamp here as well. So I could even put all 4 of mine into there too. So I think that would be a cool way to store your little roller stamps as well, provided you don't have more than 4, unless you have in multiples of 4, and then you can make a couple of them. But that would be a cute little idea for putting stuff in there, because they're not too tall. You might even be able to get a tape pen. You could kind of stick a tape pen in there, maybe your anti-static powder tool. I don't know if your little bottle of glue would fit. A snug fit, but that would go in as well. And maybe even like a mini hole punch you could kind of just hang over the side of it. Or I'm sure there's lots of different things in your stash. Maybe even a glue stick. That's going to be too big, yeah. Glue stick's too big. Rubber, though. You can put your Tombow Mono sand eraser in there, or your just a normal rubber as well. They fit in there nicely. Or what about your Tim Holtz paper distresser? That goes in there perfectly. The little mini dots runner from Nuvo. That would rest in there quite nicely as well. So you could make this like all of your adhesives in there together, which would be quite a nice idea. Or what else do I have on my desk that might fit in there? I've got a little Tipp-Ex pen. That kind of thing would go in there. I've got a little putty rubber in a box. Would fit in there, actually. So you could also put something like that in there. So there's loads of different things that you have on your desk that I'm sure you could make use of these little tidies to keep it all together. I know, I mean, if you saw my desk, I have stuff everywhere. It's like all in front of me for like a metre across in front of me. But this kind of thing would like contain all of those bits and pieces and stop you from losing stuff, because it's all sort of organised a little bit more. So, you know, have a think what you've got on your desk and what you might want to put in here as well, and then you can make one specifically for you, or give them to friends or children who are doing their homework at their desk or something. You could keep their little rubbers and pencil sharpeners and stuff in all the little compartments so they don't lose them as well. Or actually even scissors. Yeah, scissors would work in there as well. Those are the Tim Holtz mini snips. They'd work in there. You could probably even get 2 pairs. Yeah, you can get 2 pairs in there, and that still holds up just with them on one side. So you could even put scissors in there too. So yeah, loads of different things I think you can put in these. So now we've seen that one go together, I'll be back to show you a full construction of this kind of one. I also just thought of another idea, and I just had to say, in case you, you know, want a few more ideas. What about tea bags in the central section, and then those little individually wrapped biscuits around the edge, or little packets of sugar or something, if people like sugar in their tea. Or you could turn this into like a get well soon kind of present. You could maybe even fit a bottle of cough syrup in the middle, and then put like cut up strips of Day and Night Nurse in the sides, or maybe like strepsils or something, all sorts of bits like that. Or it could be like a little first aid kind of kit for somebody, and you could put plasters and maybe like TCP or like little bandages in there, or you could do it for someone who loves coffee and get one of those flavoured coffee syrups and put that in the centre, and again have like the little biscuits or some sweeteners, or you know, lots of different bits and pieces like that. I think there's loads of different ideas for like turning this into a lovely gift for a specific person as well that likes specific bits and pieces as well, not just for a crafter or somebody who likes to have their stationery organised on their desk. You know, I think there's lots of other gift giving ideas that you could do with this as well. So let's have a look at how this actually goes together. So this one I made a little bit arty and I coloured it with a load of different aqua flows, and I've actually folded this one the opposite way. So the other ones I was folding so that the professional edge of these pockets was on the outside, because this one is showing on the outside and the other one unfolds. But this one I'm going to stick together so that everything is inside this box, so it's more like this one, but I'm going to stick them all together, so you're not going to see these portions of the boxes because they're going to be stuck together. So I have decorated the professional side, but I folded them backwards. So I folded them so that when you put it all together, the actual pattern is on the inside of the box rather than on the outside. And I thought this would be quite a nice idea for like paintbrushes or arty stuff, so then it doesn't matter if you get any muck in there because it already looks messy because I made it sort of arty looking. And then I have also done these pieces as well so that we can create the closure to kind of make it more of like a little gift box in there. But I have folded these, I have done it the same way as all of the others, but I'm actually going to stick these on the outside of the box. I think on all of the other ones I was sticking them on the inside of the box, but I'm going to stick this one on the outside because I'm also going to decorate this outside. But this is the unprofessional side of the card because I folded the professional side on the inside. So I have done my decorative panels and I've stuck them onto a piece of white card that's about the same size as these panels, so that when I stick it onto here it covers up the unprofessional edge, and it will also hide where this one is sticking onto there, so when you open the box you won't see the glue tab in here. The other one, this one, I think maybe I did put the glue tab on the back side of that because you wouldn't see it, but you could have also put it on the front side here and then hid it with that piece of patterned paper as well. So there is lots of options for hiding the kind of joins of them, but because this was all arty and stuff, I didn't want to have the flap coming down on the inside and then have to try and hide it, so I thought that this would be a different way of doing it. So let's first of all stick all of these onto here. So we're going with this main tab here. This is part of the bottom of these little pockets, so we want to stick these onto the tops of these. So we can go through and add all 4 of these onto the top here, and we're actually sticking, so this is the unprofessional edge. I did colour both sides of this because I knew it was going to be opened and closed. But this is the unprofessional edge here, because when this is together, this is going to close over the top of here, so we want the professional edge to be sticking outwards or to be on the outside. So we want the unprofessional edge to be seen from the decorative inside of this box. And then we can stick this one on here. And this one. I've left this base on this one because I'm not 100% sure if you need the base, or if you can get away with not having the base, or whether you need the glue tabs on the base or not as well. So we will figure that out together, because it doesn't really tell you anything about the base on the instructions. It just tells you to cut 3 of them off. It doesn't really tell you what you then do with the base. So we will find that out when we get to that point in the construction. So put the last one on. Okay, and then to build these little compartments, so on all of these I have put tape on these 3 areas. So the back of this tab and this one, because they're all going to fold inwards and be stuck on the inside here. So firstly I was doing this one and taking that one off and folding that to give you a little right angled triangle. And then I was taking this or these two, and doing them together. So folding along the bottom first, and then sticking up against that straight edge there as well. And then this remaining glue tab is how we attach them all together, but because I am sticking these together and we're not having that roll out mechanism, or we're not joining them backwards like this, and we need that glue tab to hold them in these joins, I might be cutting these off, so we'll find out that as well in a minute, to see what way I think is going to work best. So we'll stick the rest of these together. So starting with this glue tab and then pulling it round, and you can see actually when it's together it's all pretty on the inside then. So you've got all of that splattery kind of design on the inside. So along the bottom, and then fold that one in and go up the straight side. And again, you can use your glide folder or bone folder to press on the inside, or you can get your hands in there as well. So you've got second one, and then we'll do this third one. And then we've got the one that I've left the base on for now, but we can cut this off if we don't need it, because it's actually going to be the unprofessional edge showing. So, you know, I think I might cut that off now, but we can still use that side of it and cut it into a square and stick it on the bottom when it's done to make it look neater. So I think I'm going to do it that way. So we will put this one together like the others as well. So we've now got all of our 4 little pieces put together. So I think I want to just stick these straight together and ignore those glue tabs, because I think they're gonna make it a little bit like bulky and not get them to sit nicely on the outside, I think. Do I think it will look neater without them? Although, I mean, if we folded that round and then we stuck this one over the top, I guess it is hiding it actually, so maybe they would be good to leave on there. So we are going to leave those on there. But I think the best way to do it, perhaps, is to stick all of these together first, and then we will stick those glue tabs down. Otherwise we might have too much of a gap between them, and in this case we want them to be nice and flush together, because we want the box to, you know, look like this on the inside with them all nice and closely together. So I'm going to get Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and then add it onto here, and then fold that glue tab back for now, and then just line them up here, get those curvatures to line up nicely, as well as along the bottom of the box as well. And you can pinch from the inside. You could put magnets either side of it to hold it into place. You could use a peg, anything you want to, just to hold that together while the glue grabs. Okay, I think that looks good. Right, then we can get the next one. And we can pinch that together from the inside. Okay, then this one will probably be the hardest one to get in, because we're kind of like putting a wedge into that already made space for it, so hopefully it will fit. Okay, so they are going to come apart a little bit because of the way that this box is designed. So I think it'll be alright. So we're going to just put glue on here. And then we can slot this one in. So you can see there's going to be a little bit of a gap. So maybe you should use the hinges to put them together first, rather than doing it this way. But anyway, I've kind of shown you what not to do. So you do still get a gap in the middle. So they have designed it so that they're not quite right angled triangles, perhaps, so that they don't quite meet in the middle. But anyway, that still looks fine, just having that little gap in the middle. And that's why we've got that base piece that we can put on there as well. So we've done that, and then I think if we just run a little bit of glue down these, we can stick those down together. And along here. And the next one. And then the final one. So I mean, maybe if you follow the instructions and put it together like this first, you won't get that gap in the middle. But it's not too noticeable. I mean, you could actually utilise that gap and put something in there, depending what you're going to use this for. I mean, it would hold a paintbrush up if you wanted to use this as like a paintbrush kind of a pot. It would actually hold a paintbrush in that little small section in the middle, so it can actually be a useful section that we've kind of created. So let's just make sure these are nicely stuck. Then we have got our outside panels to go on, and that's going to hide any of those glue tabs. And these ones I scribble coloured in the flower with a coloured pencil, then I put some Midas touch glitter on it, and then I filled in the rest of the areas with the Aqua Lagoon glitter drop, and then I've used some of the Emerald Isle vintage drop to do these little ones as well, because the colours kind of matched all of the aqua flows that I'd used in there. And then do we want to stick these on with tape maybe? I might use tape and glue so that they're nice and strong. If you want the sort of tape to bond right to the edges, I kind of tend to do it like this, and then you can either trim it off the edges, or you can fold it back under, depending on what you're sticking down. If it's quite thick, it doesn't matter if you fold it under, but if it's something thinner, you might want to cut it off rather than fold it, because sometimes you can see that little lump underneath the surface where you've got a double layer of the double-sided tape where you folded it over. So it just depends what you're doing, but in this case we've got a nice thick 300 GSM bit of white card there, so we're not really going to know. Oh look, I forgot I did that. That's the size I cut these to, 2 1/8 inch by 2 3/8 inches. So you can tell it's only slightly off square, this little box. But that is the sizes I cut these white panels to completely cover these sides. I forgot I had written that on there for you. Okay, so now we can remove all of this. And then fold any bits over, and then if we add a little bit of glue as well, it will mean the tape will hold it in place to begin with, but when the glue dries, that will give it a really nice strong bond to hold it all together. So we can put this one on like this, and you can put these flower panels on whichever way up you want to as well. I quite like the flower being at the bottom, but you could definitely put the flower at the top as well. You could even alternate them going round if you want to. So we've got the first one on. Just check that's nicely stuck. Fold these over. And then a little bit of glue. And add this one on as well. This is also making it really nice and strong, adding these extra panels on. So again, if this was going to be used in more of like an arty situation, it's quite nice for it to be thicker and more sturdy, because you never know whether you might drip some water on it if you're using it with paintbrushes and stuff. So it's quite nice for it to be a little bit sturdier, so it's not going to fall apart if you accidentally get it a little bit wet. Okay, last one, a little bit of glue. And then that one will finish that off. So we just want to make sure they're stuck nicely. And then there we have our little 4-compartment little pot that we can put different bits and pieces in. As I said before, a paintbrush fits perfectly in there, and I was thinking this could be some kind of like little paintbrush sort of storage. I haven't got that many paintbrushes over here, but would a big one actually holds in there. So it even holds tall stuff, which is really nice actually. I wasn't sure, and that's all in one of the compartments, and it's not toppling over. So it's a pretty sturdy kind of box. There's a spoon there as well, a pen, another paintbrush, another pen, pencil, some gel pens. So you can fit a lot in here, and I'm not even holding that, and it's staying up with all that stuff in. So I think this is a pretty cool little desk tidy. I must be honest, to begin with, I was like, I'm not really sure what you're going to put in here because it's quite small, but that is really strong. I was not expecting it to be able to hold that much stuff and not fall over, so I'm quite impressed with this actually. And then because it has like a gift box aspect to it, you can actually then fold the lid in if you want to, or you could have it without these lid pieces, you just don't stick them on, and you can do it like that, or you can fold the lid piece in. Oh, if you've got these pieces to go in the right place, you can fold the lid piece in, and then it will hold together really nicely as a little gift box as well, and then it looks pretty on the outside because we put those decorative panels on the outside. So 2 different ways of actually creating this little box that it tells you on the instructions, and then I've also done the one that unravels as well. I should have known there'd be a hole in the middle because of this one that I did, but anyway, so you can also do that kind of version as well. So I hope you enjoyed this up close video looking at the mini desk tidy, which is designer's choice number 26, and thank you for staying this long, because I know this is probably a really long video by now with the construction in the end of it. Hopefully it was helpful and showed you kind of what not to do. Oh, I didn't put the bottom on it. Hang on, we got one more step to do. So for the bottom I was gonna trim along these lines, and then stick that on the base of it basically to finish it off, to hide that there. So that would just finish off that box nicely and give it a professional bottom to it as well. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope this helped with a little bit of the construction, how to do it, maybe how not to do it as well. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Don't forget to watch the sped up video of the cards tomorrow as well. Bye!